10 Best Full Suspension Mountain Bike for 2023. 1. Santa Cruz Blur. The Santa Cruz gets the best all-around X title for its lightweight frame, racy handling, and need for speed. The Santa Cruz is a short travel bike, so it is definitely lighter and more responsive than bikes with more travel. Don't forget SRAM's wireless shifting system, plenty of tire clearance for plushy tires, and 3 bottle positions to fill up your hydration needs. It isn't a cheap bike, but if speed is what you're after, then this might be a great choice. I like this bike because it's lightweight and built for speed, has wireless shifting, but it also has lots of tire clearance. Key specs: weight 11.88, 26.8 inches, max tire size to 0.4, head tube angle 68.3, seat tube angle 76.5, carbon frame, front travel all 100 more 120 mm, rear travel all 100 more 115 mm, lightweight and designed for speed. Pros: lightweight frame, great for speed, wireless shifting, 3 bottle positions, 2.4 in tire clearance, short travel. Cons: pretty expensive but worth the investment. 2. 9R FUFO 9R. While the FUFO isn't the lightest mab out there, it probably isn't any heavier than your average X bike anyway. This mid-range mountain bike gives you high travel suspension of 100 E107 timed, so it can pretty much do it all, making it capable of not just enduro but downhill too. In addition, it has an aggressive head tube angle, which makes it a good candidate for challenging trails and steep descents. This bike has plenty of quality components on an aluminum frame. In addition, the frame itself is pretty lightweight. Just remember that aluminum doesn't give you the softest ride but is snappy and responsive. You will also get lots of stopping power with the SRAM Tufo hydraulic disc brakes. Key specs: frame of carbon fiber, suspension of Fox 38 float performance, Fox float stow performance, group set of SRAM Skess Eagle, wheels a 9er Alec 29, tires a Schwalbe Magic Mary Evo Super Trail Telatics Soft 29x to 0.6. Schwalbe Honstamp Evo Super Trail Telatics Soft 29x to 0.6. Pros: incredible suspension setup, lightweight for a bike with great ability. SRAM Eagle group set, mixed Schwalbe tire setup. Cons: the only downside on this bike is the weight. It might be a bit heavy of a bike to drag up very steep hills, but that might not be much of an issue if your fitness level is good. 3. Cotic Jeht Gold XT. Cotic Jeht Ferrous alloy is heavier than fiber composites by an average of a kilo for same category bikes. You won't get the same stiffness as a big box frame, and it doesn't scream "look how much I've spent on all this tech" either. The carefully curated steel tubes of Cotic's mid-travel trail machine add a subtle spring and flow that's almost impossible to weave into a composite shape into an alloy tube or dial into a damper though. Ovalization and oversizing where it matters still means the Jeht can place its front wheel perfectly and drive its rear wheel powerfully too. The latest launch shot geometry is confidence boosting without killing the vis. A whole range of build specs and rolling chassis options offer surprisingly good value for a small company, and Sai and his team will work with you to create any custom or partial build solutions you want to. Key specs: Travel Faro 150 and 100 Formired material or Reynolds 853 steel or upset a Shimano Defili size of 20 and Pros: sweet steel flow with muscle when needed. Excellent all-on shot of progressive geometry. Eclectic yet totally sorted Cane Creek suspension. Complete or partial custom build options. Brilliant customer service. Cons: heavy for travel and category. External not internal storage. 4. Liv Intrigue Advanced Pro. It would be wrong not to bring up one of the premier mountain bikes for women. Liv Intrigue works great for long days in the saddle, climbs, and easier descents. I personally love Liv bikes for their commitment to helping women ride more, and they make pretty amazing carbon frames that are perfect for women's geometry too. I give this bike a 10 because Liv doesn't miss a trick when it comes to women's bikes. Also, if you're a smaller male rider, you might find these bikes comfortable as well. Key specs: lightweight carbon frame, head tube angle 65.8, seat tube angle 77, front travel 104 time, rear travel 125 mid, SRAM Skess 1x12 drive rating with 1150 cassette, 2.5-inch wide tires. Pros: small sizes are great for smaller riders, efficient on climbs and comfortable and predictable on descents. Cons: not the best choice for fast, steep technical trails. 5. Cannondale Scalpel SE1. The Cannondale Scalpel SE1 gives you smooth and efficient pedaling as well as good climbing. The dropper post is dependable and the handling predictable, so you will have confidence at high speeds. The carbon frame helps keep the weight lower, and the mid-travel is really a do-it-all bike. This bike does it all, but where it excels is high-speed trails. Cross-country racing and all-day adventure rides will have this bike working at its best. This bike gets a 9 out of 10 because it seems like a high price tag for the components you get. However, I am a big fan of its ability to climb and ride fast. Key specs: travel all 120 mm front and rear, lightweight carbon frame, Shimano XD group set and brakes, dropper post, head tube angle 67, seat tube angle 74. Pros: light, stiff, and fast. Dependable and predictable handling is precise even at high speeds. Great traction, comfortable for all-day rides. 6. Merida 96 90,000. The Merida 96 90,000 offers a stiff frame and short travel suspension, which gives you plenty of traction and smooth riding. This bike is a great value for the Shimano Extra group set and brakes and DD Swiss wheel set. This bike is a little bit heavy, but it has improved handling over previous models. It sure steers like a race bike, but it has plenty of length for stability and suspension for traction. I give the Merida a 9 out of 10. It's a great looking bike with nice components and improved handling, but I think the slam stem and poor mud shedding abilities could be improved on to make it an even more awesome bike. Key specs: travel FR 100 lighted track and frame, Shimano Extra, head tube angle 68.5, seat tube angle 76, 20 wheels. Pros: great traction and smooth feel, efficient for seated climbing. Cons: heavier than competitors, brakes can be noisy, not the fastest bike in heavy mud. The slam stem is a little bit aggressive and may complicate bike handling. 7. Specialized Epic Evo Expert. Specialized move the location of the rear suspension to dampen and react better to bumpy surfaces, so you get much more comfort and traction. In addition, carbon wheels and a carbon frame help keep the weight lower, so you can climb and descend. In short, if you're looking for a bike that will span the distance between X and downhill, this one might just hit the job done with the pizzazz you want. The Specialized Epic only gets a 9.5 out of 10. I like its full capabilities for climbs and descents, but the rear shock just doesn't look like a typical mountain bike. However, the carbon wheels are a nice. Key specs: travel FRO 120 mm carbon frame, group set of Shimano Zoom Eagle, wheels size of 20 mm, head tube angle 66.5, seat tube angle 75.5, 0 offset dropper post, carbon wheels. Pros: extra reactive suspension for more comfort, 0 offset dropper post for climbing and descending well. Great value for the price. Cons: it does not look like a typical full suspension bike. Need to choose your lines carefully. 8. Canyon Spectral 29S8. Canyon Spectral 29S8, well-designed and detailed frames, totally sorted progressive geometry and impeccably neutral 4-bar suspension, all loaded with killer values. Specs are the same throughout the range. Having ridden the standard carbon frame into different spec formats, the significantly lower than a lot of so-called down-counter bikes, it definitely makes it worth stretching your wallet for, as well as a huge range of price points from Shimano entry-level to SRAM flight attendant auto suspension. There are different wheel, frame, and travel options under the broader Spectral umbrella too. The mullet wheel coil shock bike is. Key specs: travel FRO 160 150 Merida material, a carbon regates, a Shimano Defili size of 20 mm. Pros: excellent carbon and alloy frames, very well sorted suspension, excellent sensibly adjustable geometry, top value, well-curated components throughout, various wheel options available. Cons: it comes in a box, a not the liveliest, a no internal storage. 9. Santa Cruz Hightower 3V. Santa Cruz's latest Hightower is longer, slacker in the head, steeper in the seat, and comes with internal storage where you can keep the massive sense of totally predictable progression. Key specs: travel FRO 150 mm 145 mm, frame material a carbon CC, group set of SRAM Zone Eagle Axe, wheels size of 20 mm. Pros: superlative positive suspension, excellent hard and fast handling, fantastic surf-footed yet lively ride, lifetime frame, bearing, and rim warranty, beautifully engineered internal storage. Cons: significantly heavier and more expensive than Tuatu, a questionable tire choice. 10. Mondraker raised carbon RAR. Mondraker brought the super short stem, long reach stability geometry revolution to the mainstream with their forward geometry bikes. The Raise is their latest expression of that rebellious responsiveness with a super lively lightweight carbon frame and 150 mm front, 130 mm suspension split. What sounds like a wonky amount of travel works really well to encourage you to attack with the front wheel as much as possible. That's because it's when the raised geometry is at its best, and Mondraker even fit a reinforced front tire but not a rear one to reinforce the point. The stunningly looking slim frame not only looks fast, key specs, travel FRO 150 and 130 frame material a carbon, group a SRAM zone eagle, wheel size of 20 inning. Pros, lightweight, lively frame, perfectly imbalanced Fox factory suspension, forward geometry agility, mine data mining. Cons, a mine could do more, and not as light as claimed.